This lesson is on pronouns. You may already be aware that there are 3 ways of speaking in Korean: the casual way, the polite way, and the formal way. Which one you use depends on who you are speaking to. Casual speech is for close friends and people younger than you. Polite speech is for strangers, people older than you, and people ranked higher than you. Formal speech can also be used for all of the same people that polite speech can be used for, and in addition, it is used for addressing large groups, elderly people, and anyone else to which you want to show an extra level of respect. Polite language and formal language are often used interchangeably, and when it comes to pronouns, there is usually only one word that is considered both polite and formal. So as we go through this lesson, I will be showing you how to say each pronoun in both the casual way and the polite/formal way. Let's get started with first person singular. In English, it is I. In Korean, the casual version is na, and the polite/formal version is j. I remember the casual version of I by thinking of that taunt like na 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 na. It's not very polite, so never say na 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 in polite speech. Say j instead. But this is fairly straightforward, right? We have casual na and polite/formal j. Well, not all Korean pronouns are that easy. Korean has a totally different way of doing things. So get ready. Let's get into you. To say you in Korean, the casual way is ne, and the polite/formal way, there is no polite/formal way. When you think about it, it is kind of rude to call someone you. Hey, you! Instead, you should say their name every time. That is a more polite way of addressing someone. Of course, we don't always know someone's name, so instead we can use their job title, or just call them man or woman, or often, Koreans do not use any word at all. You see, Korean is a pronoun drop language. They often drop the pronouns from the sentence altogether. In Korean, if I am talking to you, all I have to do is look at you while I'm saying something, and you'll get the idea. Here's an example with a phrase you might have heard before. I love you in Korean is 사랑해요. So which part of that is the I, which part is the love, and which part is the you? Well, there is no I or you in this sentence. The word 사랑해요 just means love. And the fact that I am looking at you while I say it is all that is needed to let you know that it is me who loves you. Dropping the pronouns from your sentence seems like a foreign idea at first, but we can relate to it. You might give someone an instruction by saying, pick up that brick. You don't have to say, I want you to pick up that brick. That's all implied. And around Christmas time, we all look at each other and we say, Merry Christmas. We don't need to say, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. No one ever gets confused by the phrase Merry Christmas. What? Merry Christmas? What about it? From you hope that I have a Merry Christmas. I get it now. Oh my God, I was so confused for a second. We don't really need all those extra pronouns, and neither does Korean. They just take it a step further. Now, you may see it taught in other places that the formal/polite way of saying you is 동신. But don't use this regularly. This version of you means darling or dear. It is used between romantic partners. You can also use it sarcastically if you want to start a fight with someone. But for the majority of your interactions, do not use 동신. Only for people that you love passionately or hate passionately. Otherwise, you might find yourself in an uncomfortable situation. So like I said, either you drop the word you entirely, or you replace it with a person's name, job title, or something like man or woman. We're going to go over job titles in a future video. As for man and woman, here we go. she, she. Middle-aged man. Ajuma, ajuma. Middle-aged woman. Be careful with this one. Don't use it for any woman who looks under 45 years old. This is middle-aged woman. You might also consider using ajamani. This also means middle-aged woman, but it's a little less harsh, maybe a bit younger. There's also samonim. This means wife of any respectable man. It might also be translated as madam. Use it for wealthy-looking women. Halabaji, elderly man. Halmani, elderly woman. Sun sang nim. This literally means teacher. And I said we weren't learning job titles in this video, but Sansang-nim doesn't just refer to professional teachers. You can use it for anyone you want to show respect to. Anyone who strikes you as intelligent. Sansang-nim. On the other side, there's also Hokseng. This means student, and it's safe to assume that any child or teenager is a student. There are also words for young man, chongak, and young woman, agashi. But nobody really uses these words anymore. They've fallen out of fashion. Elderly people may still use them towards young adults. And I think sometimes men use the word agashi when they're trying to hit on a young woman. But nice boys don't do that. Another thing that you can do instead of calling someone man or woman is say, excuse me, to get their attention. And then once you are looking at them and they are looking at you, you don't need to use pronouns at all. It's all implied. So to say excuse me, you say jugyo, over there, as in, hey you over there. Or you can say yugyo, over here, as in, look at me over here. All right, so now third person singular. In English, he and she. In Korean, well, there's no one way to say he or she, but there are lots of ways of speaking about someone in the third person. However, like I said, Korean is a pronoun drop language, and what you typically do is identify the person by name at the beginning and then drop the third person pronoun for the remainder of the paragraph. But if you do use a third person pronoun, instead of referring to someone as he or she in Korean, you say either this person or that person. And you can replace the word person with a more specific word if you like, such as man, woman, child, old man, middle-aged man, etc. Let's go through some of them. This person, isaram. E means this, and saram means person. That person. There are two types of that in Korean. If you're talking about a person nearby, that is g. So that person is g-sa-ram. For when a person is far away, like maybe so far away you can't see them, they're off in another location, the version of that you use is ch. Yeah, okay, this can be really confusing because we just learned that j is the Korean word for I. They're homophones. They're words that sound the same but have different meanings. Now, what words can we use in place of saram, or person? We can use man, namja, woman, yeja, middle-aged man, ajashi, middle-aged woman, ajuma, You can really use any word. If you want to refer to someone as an idiot, pabo. But here's a very important one that you should definitely commit to memory. Bun. This is a very respectful way to say person. You might almost consider these the formal ways of saying he and she, and with the obvious exception of pabo, these previously mentioned ones are the polite ways. Now, all that's missing is the casual way. Look at how long all these words are. We definitely need a casual version. The casual versions of he and she are derived from the words for this child or that child. But you can use these words for adults too. This child is ei. That child nearby is ge-I. That child far away is je-I. And then you take these words and slur them a bit and squish them into one syllable, and you get your casual he and she. Yay. This guy, or gal, or kid. Gay. That nearby guy, or gal, or kid. J. That far away guy, or gal, or kid. Gay and J are written as gay and J, but you know human nature. We like things to be easy. So when you're talking at normal speed, you pronounce them as gay and J without the Y sound. One more thing. You might see he and she translated as g and gunya. These words are only used when directly translating something from English into Korean, or also from some other language into Korean. The point being that these words are not actually used by Koreans in speech or writing. And there's one more third-person pronoun, it. To say it, you say this thing or that thing. And you can use the same words regardless of whether you're speaking casually or polite/formal. I gut, g gut, j gut. All right, now we get to move on to first person plural, or as we call it in English, we. The casual we is uri. The polite/formal we is je hui. Finally, something simple, right? Sometimes you will see uri and je hui with a dul added to the end to indicate that it is plural, but this is not necessary in the case of the we pronoun. Now, second person plural. In English, this is you when you are speaking to more than one person. We don't technically have a different word for plural you in English, but some Americans will say y'all or you guys. And for those of you who know other languages, the plural you in French is vous. In Spanish, it's vosotros or ustedes. In Mandarin Chinese, it's ni men. I think that's how you say it. But we're interested in Korean. And in Korean, you for when you're speaking to more than one person is ne hui do. Ne hui do. Ne hui do in the casual form. Or sometimes you drop the do. Ne hui. And as we know, there's no polite/formal way of calling someone you in Korean. So what they do instead is say yarabun, which means everyone. Remember that part bun is the polite way of saying person. Lastly, let's learn how to say they. Let's learn the third person plural pronoun. Remember we learned the third person singular? I, saram, g, saram, j, saram. Now to make it plural, all you have to do is put dul at the end. And now we have I saram do, these people. G saram do, those nearby people. J saram do, those far away people. And just like before, we can replace the saram part with any word we choose. Namja, yeja, good. And let's not forget the formal way of saying person, I bundo, ge bundo. 저분도. And of course, the casual ones. 얘도, 걔도, 쟤도. It should be noted that the do at the end of the they pronouns is very necessary because it's the only thing that distinguishes them from the he and she pronouns. Let's summarize this lesson as quick as we can. Casual I in Korean is na. Polite/formal I is je. Casual U is ne. Polite/formal U is usually dropped when you have someone's attention, and if you don't have their attention, you can get it by saying 저기요 or 여기요, over there or over here. You can also address them as 아주씨, 아주마, 할아버지, 할머니, or 선생님, depending on their age and gender. You can say 당신 if you love them passionately or hate them passionately. You can use their name if you know it, or job title if you know it. To say he or she casually, you say this person, ye, that person, nearby, ke, that person, far away, je. To say this person and that person politely, it is 이 사람, 그 사람, 저 사람. To say this person and that person more formally, 이분, 그분, 저분. To say it, you say this thing, 이것, that thing nearby, 그것, that thing far away, 저것. The casual version of we is 우리 or 우리도. The polite/formal we is 저희 or 저희도. The casual plural you is 너희 or 너희도. The polite/formal plural you does not exist, so instead you can say everybody, 여러분. To say they, you say these people or those people nearby or those people far away. In casual speech, it is 얘도, 걔도, 쟤도. In polite speech, it is 이 사람도, 그 사람도, 저 사람도. And in formal speech, it is 이분도, 그분도, 저분도. And that's it. Next lesson is going to be on what you call someone in Korean, because just using a person's name all by itself can be considered a little rude. So make sure you watch that one when you can, in order to avoid the awkward. The pronoun chart is available in the description, as well as a link to some multiple choice tests that you can try out when you think you've memorized all your pronouns. There's also a transcription of everything I just said during the lesson. And thanks for studying with me. 안녕히 계세요.